Very pleased and honored to have Jackson Potter, a teacher, activist, staff coordinator with the Chicago Teachers Union. That's CTUNET.com is the website. The hashtag is shutdown CHI, shutdown Chicago, shutdown Chai. Jackson, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So tell us, we've had enough in the streets for a new American spring. What's going on with the Chicago Teachers Union?
Yeah, I mean, we're not fooling. We're getting serious about the problems that we face. We want to solve the budget crisis that has put vulnerable families and communities in the crosshairs in Illinois, where you've seen massive cuts to special education programming. We have 100 school closings on the horizon, furlough days, mass layoffs. They're, talking about decreasing services in all facets of social programs. Universities are on the verge of collapse. They're pink slipping. The largest black student-enrolled university in the state, Chicago State University, at the end of the month, all the faculty will be laid off. So we're in a real dire situation. We've got to fight for funding. That's what this is about.
That's astonishing. So who are you fighting against?
Well, Bruce Rauner, Rahm Emanuel, and the people who bankroll them, Ken Griffin, the super uber rich, who pay less as a percentage of their taxes than the lunch lady at our schools, have, for far too long looked the other way and given money to wealthy developers and banks that should have been invested in classrooms. And so what we're saying is they are incapable of making the changes necessary to solve this crisis. They've actually contributed to it and brought us to this edge of fiscal calamity. And what we need is to have a fair tax system like they have in Minnesota or California, where the wealthy pay their fair share. We need to close corporate loopholes. We need to stop this slush fund for wealthy developers where school dollars go into the pockets of people developing luxury condos. And when we do those things and we can properly invest in schools and we can install democratic governance of our school district, that will put us on a path to stability.
Do you have champions in this?
There's actually a growing coalition of both politicians and community and labor organizations that are saying the same thing. So in 2012, when we went on strike, it was actually pretty lonely out there. You had, city council aldermen attacking us. You had all of the mainstream press attacking us, and many in the political establishment, not supporting that effort to fully fund our schools. But this time, you've got, Amalgamated Transit Union, the train and bus operators saying that this is an issue. We've got university professors and students and faculty saying, we're on the verge of collapse, and we have the same problems and the same adversaries. You've got a whole plethora of community groups that have been working on criminal justice issues, Black Lives Matter. You've got students who are undocumented and can't get access to MAP grants to go to college. All of these forces are coming together and saying the same thing. Social service agencies that can't provide senior housing or services to people with disabilities. The situation has become such a critical juncture that we've got a much broader set of forces saying the same thing.
We're talking with Jackson Potter, a teacher and activist and staff coordinator with the Chicago Teachers Union, CTUNET.com. You can tweet Jackson Potter, by the way, at JacksonPCTU. And Jackson, what's it going to look like tomorrow in Chicago? What specifically are y'all going to do, and what kind of outcome are what are you hoping for, and what are you concerned about?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty spectacular. The only concern that I've always got being a Chicagoan is the weather. Will it hold up and make it so that people have an easy time?
There's a big storm coming through, isn't there, through the Midwest?
Yeah, they're talking about some rain, but we're a hardy bunch in the Midwest. So
yeah. I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. People are just happy it's not snowing here, so I think we'll be okay. But what we expect are tens of thousands of people in the streets, big picket lines. We got Fight for 15 workers from McDonald's, many of whom are CPS students, Chicago Public School students, who send their children to Chicago Public Schools joining us. They're going on strike simultaneously. because their families are in the crosshairs because of the state budget crisis. We're going to march from a few different prominent locations across the city to the universities that are in danger of being shut down: Northeastern Illinois University and Chicago State University. And we also have a big picket where schools, after they're done in the morning, will go to the Nabisco plant. Many of the parents in schools on the southwest side of Chicago work at the Nabisco plant that is now, sending the factory over to Mexico where they can get cheaper labor and higher profits at great cost to our low-income communities of color in Chicago. And so we'll be joining those workers and those families on the picket lines in front of that plant, demanding that the company not cut and run and balance, their budgets on the backs of working families. And then we're going to be in downtown areas. We're going to have marches to the Cook County Jail from schools in that area, demanding that they fund schools, not prisons. We are going to have a teach-in, actually, in City Hall where students are leading an effort to educate the mayor and his cronies around the way in which they have undermined the school system's finances and what they need to do to solve the problems they've created. And then finally, there's going to be a big exclamation point at the end of the day at 4 p.m. downtown Chicago in front of the State of Illinois building, right on, Washington and LaSalle. People will gather. There will be tens of thousands of people. And we're going to march together and have a little program.
Wow. This is a lot of stuff. Are you expecting that the Chicago Public Schools are going to be closed tomorrow?
Yeah, they've actually announced that they're closed in the sense that no instruction will be happening. However, they are encouraging our members to cross picket lines. They are trying to whip up a frenzy and say that we don't have the interests of children, and it couldn't be further from the truth. We are standing up. We're taking a loss of pay, $10 million that educators are saying they're willing to sacrifice in order to solve the problems that we didn't create, so that we don't have ballooning class sizes, so we don't have massive school closings, furloughs, layoffs, and instability. We are demanding that the state do what it needs to do to fully fund our institutions that so many people rely on, and the most vulnerable students in our society are being shortchanged. And yet what they've done is given all this money to big banks through bad deals like toxic swaps. They've hired privatizers who have failed to do the services they were hired to do. They have given away big contracts to corrupt entities that have put us on this very thin ice. And we're the ones who are saying, enough's enough.
Is this a problem or a crisis that is limited to Chicago? Or, Bruce Rauner is the Republican governor of the entire state of Illinois and
right.
is, majorly messing with the budget for education. Do you expect to see other towns around Illinois, in the state, their teachers start doing something like you're doing? Or is this really largely a Chicago issue?
No, it's actually the activity is quite extensive and growing. Just today, we have a set of universities outside of the Chicago metro area, Governor State, Northern, and more. I think University of Illinois Springfield as well, that are doing activities around this very issue because they're also, feeling some extraordinary pressure on their budgets. And then, there's teachers in Macomb and nursing home workers and child care workers in SEIU, Healthcare Indiana, Illinois, who are going to be picketing DHS offices and doing all kinds of lunchtime activities.
Lots of great stuff. Jackson, we're out of time here, but you're doing great work. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
At ctunet.com.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.